Over the years, I've watched many a YouTuber give autumnal bookrecs, and I thought it would be fun to finally put my 2 cents in. Hey Chickadees, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to recommend you some books to get into the fall spooky mood. Let's get started with our first category.
It's summer. We're supposed to be having fun.
First book in this category is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. Alex Summer is a popular podcaster who interviews inspiring women. On the day of her 40th birthday, she encounters her birthday twin, Josie Fair, who's got a story or two to share about her dark history with her husband, thus starting the ever-tumultuous acquaintanceship between the two, as Alex finds Josie slowly entangling herself in her life, in ways she finds herself feeling trapped and afraid. If you like mixed media in your books, or the movie Ingrid Goes West, I think you'd enjoy this. The next book is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. The year is August 1975, Emerson Camp, property of the infamous Van Laars. When 13-year-old Barbara Van Laar goes missing, mysteries of the camp and the people in it are uncovered in this twisty literary mystery thriller. This book has multiple POVs and timelines, all leading up to a conclusion that left me feeling aghast. Last book in this category is She is a Haunting by Tran Tran. When Jade discovers her father's renovating house is haunted, it's up to her to figure out why and get her family out. Although this book is technically a haunted house book, it's set so deeply in the heat of Vietnam summers that I had to put it in this category. Although I like the spooky imagery of apparitions and insect horror, the ending is a bit lackluster. But overall, this book's prose and story were quite enjoyable for those hot, sticky summers when you're feeling like a little horror. Speaking of haunted houses, the next category is
a manor.
A haunted house.
If you're looking for a little subtlety in your haunted house horror, look no further than Shirley Jackson's Haunting of Hill House. Essentially, it's about 4 people who hole up in a manor in search of paranormal phenomena. This book leaves you wondering if almost everything Eleanor sees is just all in her head, or if there is paranormal activity bounding about the ground. Though I'm not quite sure I would recommend this book if you just want the show in book form. The show and the book are vastly different in plot from each other. Other than a few names and quotes, they aren't really the same. This book does have a movie adaptation called The Haunting, if you want to know what you're truly in for. If you do want a book kind of like The Haunting of Hill House show, I'd recommend Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. In it, we have 2 timelines trying to explain events that went on in this house, both 25 years in the past and the present. The past timeline represents the autofiction Maggie's father wrote about, recounting living through supernatural happenings in Banbury Hall. Whereas the present timeline takes place when Maggie goes back to the house to uncover what really happened there. From the fictional narrative of the father's book compared to the reality of the situation, to a character going back to the house years later to confront their past, you'll surely enjoy this if you're a fan of the Haunting of Hill House show. If you like the concept of characters getting pulled back to their childhood homes, these next 2 books should do it. Gallant by V.E. Schwab is about orphan girl Olivia Pryor, who receives a mysterious letter urging her to return to her family home. But when she arrives, nobody knows how or why she's there. The only clue that she belongs there lies in the pages of her mother's journal. The horrors of this book remain mostly in the atmosphere and shadowy imagery, but other than that, it's a pretty straightforward mystery of Olivia trying to figure out why she was summoned to Gallant. Alice Feeney's Daisy Darker is a mystery thriller about an estranged family gathering for Nana's 80th birthday in their old home, on a secluded island during high tide. And did I mention her birthday also happens to land on Halloween? Like, come on, this book is just begging to be read during autumn. No spoilers, but something happens, and it kickstarts the book into a specific kind of mystery that's quick and fast. You know, I just realized a lot of these books have female protagonists. So let's talk about
Please, I'm a star!
Slewfoot by Brahm is about outsider Apatha and her slow descent into witchery through unfortunate circumstances and nosy neighbors. This slow burn of a book has you rooting for Apatha to gain the power to stand up for herself and her companions, and just praying that the people who've done her wrong get their comeuppance in the end. And the imagery and actual pictures in this book are just so haunting and hunky-dory. Alice by Christina Henry is about Alice and her ally Hatcher escaping an asylum and traversing the old city to unlock the secrets and horrors of her past. If you guys remember the Alice Madness Returns game on PS3, this book is just as dark as that game, but in a different way. I suggest looking up trigger warnings before reading this book though, cause it gets dark. But yeah, if you like dark retellings of fairy tales, highly recommend Alice. The last book in this category is Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. Yes, I know this is typically placed under dark academia, but I haven't read enough to create its own category, so female rage it is. Anyways, this book is about Alex Stern, a young woman who possesses the ability to see ghosts. To escape the consequences of her past, Alex is forced to take part in supervising the secret societies of Yale University. However, she may get more than she bargained for when a girl from the same university dies under mysterious circumstances. Again, I'd recommend looking up trigger warnings before you read. If you like dark magic, foggy, crisp, autumn settings, secret societies, this book is for you. Now, you may be thinking, oh, Angel, horror books are good and all, but what if I want something lighter to read? Well, you're in luck, because the next two categories are...
Careful, I bite.
First, I have to start off this category with Fangs by Sarah Anderson. This is a charming little slice-of-life comic about a relationship between a vampire named Elsie and werewolf Jimmy. Literally, each page has 4 panels or so of what they do on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, it's a quick, cute read for autumn. Ghost by Raina Telgemeier is about Katrina and her little sister Maya moving to a coastal town, Bahi de la Luna, in hopes to help offset Maya's ongoing cystic fibrosis. Little did they know, the cold and fog aren't the only thing residing in this town. You could probably guess based off the title, but despite negative connotations ghosts often get in horror movies and books, this book is actually very endearing and has a more positive spin on how ghosts interact with the living. Speaking of ghosts, this next book, or rather series, Unfamiliar by Haley Newsome, is about kitchen witch Planchette and her adventures trying to exorcise spirits in her new house, with the help of friends Peon, Babs, and Sun. While some spirits may seem a bit hostile at first, ultimately they just want to move on in peace. If you're in the mood for ghoulish, witchy books with a touch of comedy and mystery, I'd recommend picking this series up. Last book I'd recommend in this category is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea by Rebecca Thorne. This is about Royal Palace Guard Reyna and her mage girlfriend Tianti running away from their responsibilities to open a tea/bookshop in a small town called Tawny. For a book labeled cozy fantasy, this book actually has pretty high stakes, from the danger of Reyna being found by the Queen's Guard to deal-making with dragons. However, when it's cozy, it's cozy. If you like reading about the process of their book/tea shop coming to life with the slight edge of the possible dangers they may face, or if you just wanted more from Legends and Lattes, this book is perfect for the fall season.
Snuggly, buggly, wuggly.
I Am a Cat Barista by Hiro Majima is a short story collection about a magical cafe that can only be found by the weary souls of Japan. Each chapter follows a different patron and the cat barista Hachi, listening to their woes and creating the perfect drink or dessert to help them de-stress. If you want a book that feels like coming home and relaxing on the couch after a long day, this book is for you. And finally, if you want the ultimate cozy fall romance book, You Again by Kate Goldbeck is perfect. Heavily inspired by the movie When Harry Met Sally, it follows stand-up comedian Ari and chef Josh as they navigate crossing and uncrossing each other's lives. Though both are hot messes, respectfully, I just love the witty banter between the two every time they get together on the page, whether as friends or as a couple. Highly, highly recommend for fans of Nora Ephron films, romance readers, or just anyone new to this genre. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you when I see you. Take care, chickadees.